This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
The NFL hates what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The third story is that Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy instantly derails Trey Lance hype train. It's trending more and more likely that Dak Prescott will play out the 2024 season on the final year of his contract. Until Prescott inks a new deal, there will be a path to Trey Lance becoming the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback. To say that Lance has a long way to go before the Cowboys ever consider him as Prescott's successor would be an understatement. After a rough preseason debut, Lance looked more comfortable last week against the Raiders, but that isn't saying much. It has long made sense in fans' eyes that the Cowboys should attempt to trade Lance before he seeks greener pastures as a free agent next March. As it turns out, a Lance trade won't be happening after Jerry Jones confirmed the 24-year-old will make Dallas' 53-man roster. While notable, that doesn't necessarily mean he'll back up Prescott. Lance still has a lot to prove, and Mike McCarthy reinforced that on 2 accounts on Wednesday. McCarthy was asked if he's going to have a difficult decision picking between Lance and Cooper Rush for the backup job. McCarthy gave a typical coach spoken answer, but the fact he didn't commit to Lance speaks volumes. "I think just like anything, you play this all the way out," said McCarthy via John Mahoda of The Athletic. "You can never have good enough quarterbacks, and we got 3 good ones, so we're fortunate." It wouldn't make much sense for McCarthy to name the winners before Saturday's preseason finale, and many Cowboys fans have written Rush off the roster due to Lance's upside. However, Rush has kept the proverbial ship afloat whenever Prescott has missed time with injury. During the presser, McCarthy stated that 2 players are having their best training camps as Cowboys: right tackle Terrence Steele and QB Cooper Rush, per ESPN's Ted Archer. McCarthy applauded Rush's ability to lead the offense to points during 2-minute drills, and thus the Lance hype train has come to a screeching halt. The former 3rd overall pick had some wind in his sails following Saturday's win and Jones' announcement. While Jones confirming Lance's roster spot was seen as a big endorsement, it was expected outcome. However, trading Lance sounded ideal in theory, but it was always going to be difficult, given how little football he's played in the last 2 years, even in the light of JJ McCarthy's season-ending injury amid other QB uncertainty around the league. Quitting Lance wasn't an option either. While Dallas declined Lance's 5th-year option, their investment of a 4th-round pick coupled with his $5.31 million guaranteed salary suggested from the onset that he was going to make the team. Furthermore, it would be foolish of any team to not carry 3 quarterbacks, with the NFL's emergency 3rd quarterback rule. It may seem like McCarthy rained on Lance's parade, but there wasn't really anything to celebrate to begin with. The head coach has long stated Lance needs more reps. 2 preseason games hasn't changed enough. On top of this, Jerry Jones shows frustration with Dak Prescott in the Dallas Cowboys contract talks. Jerry Jones is losing his patience after an exhausting offseason with the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb on top of it, and Dak Prescott won big contract extensions, but the team's front office hasn't reached the number expected by both stars. Prescott's situation is the most complicated because the quarterback has all the leverage to work with. He is set to become an unrestricted free agent in 2025, and Jones cannot stop him as the franchise isn't an option. Although the controversial owner believes Dak is the key to win a Super Bowl, he is not willing to make him the highest paid player in the NFL, and time is running out. Jerry Jones showed his frustration with what's happening in the NFL, and according to the owner, more players aren't willing to respect their current contracts, asking for bigger money boost earlier than expected. It's important to remember that Dak Prescott is under contract for the 2024 season. The second story is that the Dallas Cowboys should trade for this running back. The Dallas Cowboys are heading into week 3 of the preseason, and the current weakest position group on the Dallas Cowboys is the running back room. The room currently consists of Ezekiel Elliot, Rico Dowdle, Malik Davis, Royce Freeman, and Deuce Vaughn. Back in May, head coach Mike McCarthy had confirmed to reporters that the team would be taking a committee approach as opposed to a bell cow bat. Or running back by committee, I think it's times that we're in. 17 games is a lot of football. That's a big role for those guys. Don't get me wrong, they'd all like to carry it like the old days and have those touches, but you want those guys fresh at the most important time of the year. So that's all part of planning and how you look at projections of playtime. Having a committee approach at the running back position isn't a bad idea. Most teams don't win. Super Bowls by paying large money for one guy to carry the load on the ground. With that being said, the current committee in Dallas is lackluster at best. Elliot is coming off his worst season in the NFL, averaging 3.5 yards per carry with the New England Patriots last season. Freeman only finished the 2023 season with 319 rushing yards for the Los Angeles Rams and is far from a lock to make the team. Dowdle impressed last season but still only averaged 4.1 yards per carry. Davis and Vaughn have gotten consistent reps and are fighting for a role on the team. With that being said, there is a running back that Dallas could trade for who could provide some juice and shake up the running depth chart. Miles Sanders is a player that could make sense for the Cowboys after having a career-low season with the Carolina Panthers. In 2023, the 2019 second-round pick averaged more than 4.5 yards each season with the Philadelphia Eagles. His most efficient one coming in 2021 when he averaged 5.5 yards per carry. His best statistical season came in 2022 where he was selected to the Pro Bowl after finishing the season with 259 carries, 1,269 rushing yards, and 11 touchdowns. His impressive 2022 season earned him a contract with the Carolina Panthers, where he was unable to replicate his success he experienced in Philly. He had a career-low 432 rushing yards on just 3.3 yards per carry. In fairness to him, everyone looked back on the Panthers last season as they finished with the league-low 2 wins. It is safe to say that Carolina had one of the worst offensive lines across the league last year, and Sanders would receive much more help from his line in Dallas. It would make much more sense for the Panthers to make him available after drafting Jonathan Brooks in the second round of the 2023 draft. On top of this, and giving Chuba Hubbard more carries in 2023, Sanders could have his career revived in a better system, and that being the Dallas Cowboys. Now, on top of this, the former player calls out Jerry Jones for his undermining in his own franchise. The All in the Dallas Cowboys preseason, as coined by their owner Jerry Jones, is drawing to a close, and many of the perceived issues when Jones made that statement, like extending CeeDee Lamb, have yet to be resolved. Chris Cantry, a former Cowboys player turned sports radio host and media personality, took to ESPN This Is Football to air his grievances for his old Boston franchise. Some of the things that we get from ownership are counter to creating the type of culture that it takes in order to get the best out of your people when your best is required. And that's the most maddening thing about it, because there is no shortage of talent. Last we heard from Jones, there was more vague media talk and little to assuage what the fans feel are valid concerns. Well, again, we're just continuing to talk. The thing is there, since we're really in season, practicing, doing all those things, we're operating under the existing contract really well. One of the things that the fans should really understand is that 9 times out of 10, there are existing contracts that you have in place, and you should be able to operate under those. Why Jerry Jones is wrong not to extend Dak Prescott and also CeeDee Lamb's contract is to be decided. What Jones says is technically true. However, football teams and their players don't exist in vacuums. So before we get into the next story, here's a quick word from our sponsor, BetUS and Michael Vick.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
The first story is that Cowboys signed 2-time Pro Bowler in late defensive move. The Dallas Cowboys are adding one of NFL's most proven veterans in reinforcements their defense before the 2024 season begins. After 14 years and stints with 5 other NFL teams, Linval Joseph is taking his talents to the Cowboys Stadium. The move was first reported on August 21 by longtime NFL insider Josina Anderson. Joseph had been a free agent this entire offseason, but now has a new home with Dallas. Breaking, I'm told the hashtag Dallas Cowboys are signing DT Linval Joseph per source, Anderson wrote on Twitter. Joseph arrives shortly after Cowboys defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer publicly called for the team to add to the nose tackle position, and in this prime, Joseph was one of NFL's premier players at that position, and he was playing under Zimmer with the Minnesota Vikings. However, he's just over a month away from his 36th birthday. Joseph's latest stint with the Buffalo Bills wasn't exactly a success. But Dallas will likely not be looking for a huge role for Joseph. Instead, Joseph will probably be taking on a rotational role that will give the Cowboys a fresh force on the interior. Linval looking to rekindle the old success, because during his 2016 and 2017 season, Joseph was a force of nature on a talented NFL defense. It's hard for defensive tackles to stand out, but on a defense that boasted multiple Pro Bowlers, Joseph did just that for the Vikings. In 2016, Joseph made a whopping 77 tackles, earning 5 tackles for loss and 4 sacks. He followed up with 68 tackles in 2017, adding another 5 TFL and 3.5 sacks according to Pro Football Reference. The years before and after featured plenty of success too, but with Minnesota and Zimmer that Joseph had his best years. Over the past 2 years, Joseph had struggled to make an impact with new teams. So thanks so much for watching this video, and thank you again to BetUS for sponsoring today's video, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.